everyone. This is the Ayer Conservation Commission meeting. It is Thursday, May 25th, 2023. Commissioners in attendance this evening are Jeremiah as member, George Bacon as member, Jess Gugino as member clerk, Mark Phillips, vice chair, myself, John Schmallenberger as chair, Heather Hampson as conservation agent. Welcome all. Confirmation of agenda.
No changes.
Motion to approve the agenda as written.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Passes unanimously. Approval of the meeting minutes for May 11th, 2023.
I have one item.
Oh, good.
Delivered in a timely manner.
On page 4, a little more than halfway down, when you talk about the turtle area, it should say turtle nesting area, just to clarify.
Turtle area.
That was it. But just to prove to you, I actually read them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got it.
Mark, do you have something?
Should I was just wondering if I should wordsmith a little bit. So you talked about the age of the life.
For the aging infrastructure.
Aging infrastructure.
Yeah.
And you said something to the effect of like lifespan or something like that. Maybe you could say has exceeded its end of life. Something maybe slightly different.
The reason I use
after
that.
this at work.
The reason I used that end of lifespan was from
Is that verbatim from the?
the something,
Okay,
but I can change that happily.
that's fine.
Exceeded its.
You said something to the effect of had exceeded lifespan or something like that? Typical term is like end of, has reached end of life or has exceeded end of life.
Sorry, I'm looking at solar too. That was a long discussion. Yeah, so Dan, is this phrase okay?
Across its lifespan.
The aging pneumatic injector infrastructure has surpassed its lifespan.
That is true, yeah. Yeah,
Over 30 years old, right?
yeah.
And will be replaced with the new technology of a submersible pump station that will use the footprint and concrete enclosure of the existing station to reduce impact.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's all I had.
Good.
Any changes, George?
No.
Jen?
Nope. That's all I had. There's just that one.
Okay. Motion to approve the meeting minutes for May 11th, 2023 as amended.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Passes unanimously. Public input. No public that I see, so
No input.
we're gonna go. So our first item this evening is a continued request for determination of applicability, Ayer Department of Public Works, pulpit rock drainage and pathway improvements at the end of Marshall Street and 3rd Street. So most commissioners went on a site walk. How was that?
Oh, it was nice.
Was it nice?
Matt had it all spray painted out. It was nice. It was very well laid out.
Commissioners have any comments or questions?
The only thing Matt said he might, if he could possibly save those 2 trees, he would.
Okay. Yeah, we could see about doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just
when we're
mattered to
doing
me, yeah.
at it, yeah.
But
Questionable?
Yeah. with the
I think there were some questions too that you had, Mark, on some tree limbs that were hanging too about getting those removed, right? The widowmakers that were hanging, that was it too. There was just some issues on trees that just need to be cleared up when the work starts, that's all.
Okay,
Yeah, figuring if you're gonna put a nice path in there and make it inviting, maybe we should just make sure that no dead tree limbs fall down on people. And
Yeah, we could take care of that.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, you know, maybe
Could
you
help
just
us.
touch Jace with the
Yeah.
tree warden, and, you know, he could come
Yeah.
by and whoever, you know, clean the limbs up a little bit. There's some dead stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That
it.
sounded good.
Yeah.
Nothing else? It's all good to go?
We're a tough commission. For good projects.
This is a good project.
Yes, it is. It's going to be a nice project.
Okay. Is there a motion to issue a negative determination for Air Department of Public Works at Pulpit Rock Drainage and Pathway Improvements?
Second?
Okay, should we add the, try to save the trees and cut down the limbs in there?
Yeah. It's in the minutes, and
It's in the
Matt
minutes?
knows. Yeah, and Matt knows.
Okay,
And I'll have to go out and inspect the silt fence and everything anyway before the project starts.
okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be out there before
Yeah.
any work's done to
Yeah.
inspect the erosion controls? and-
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So you made it. Seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. All right, our next,
Nice one to sign.
what? Our next item this evening is the continued public hearing notice of intent, DEP file number 100-0484. We will open this under the Wetlands Protection Act and also under the Air Wetlands Bylaw. Pump house on right way.
Yeah, it says right road on the agenda.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I corrected it, but not before I sent it out.
Sorry, kind of jumping the gun there, wasn't I?
Oh, sure.
Dan sit in the yucky chair.
So you all went down there on Saturday and took a look. I wasn't there, so. What'd you find out?
It's interesting.
Interesting.
It's just this box hole in the ground.
Yeah. One thing that was mentioned during the site walk, I think by Matt, might have been that this station isn't being designed to take Stratton Hill. That if Stratton Hill goes through, it'll probably wind up having its own pump station.
So, we've been trying to do this station since FY19 when we got the funding. And we've been kind of waiting for Stratton Hill to see if, you know, his work would, if our interest, town's interest and his interest for wastewater would converge. So, it's being designed the way we would do it if we would upgrade it. I believe it would be able to accommodate Stratton Hill, but if he's tying into it, he will have to compensate the town. So we have had discussions with him, the DPW has, but it's just, his project's been taking a while to go. So we've had our station, we've gotten worried out there. We've, you know, come up with emergency plans if those pods fail and we have to start pumping up the hill. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay.
If Stratton
Sam.
Hill does not tie into that, what would they do?
So if they weren't to tie into it, they would likely need a pump station of their own up on their hill to tie into our sewer. So ultimately, they'd still make it into the sewer, just a different way. But I think it makes, from the town's perspective, from the developers, it's probably advantageous for them to be able to tie into gravity and then compensate the town for using our pump station, having capacity of it. So that's how it would work out with a negotiation. Yeah.
How do you determine how much they would pay? Or,
How much well, you have to look at you'd base it on flow and capacity, and I would come up with a number using that. So we do have like connection fees, so we can use those as a basis, how much connection fees he's doing, but in this case, he'd be not having to put in a pump station, using capacity of our pump station. So I'd look at it from that perspective and kind of estimated costs of those and, how much he should bear to buy capacity in ours. Yeah.
Why would they have to come all the way down the hill only to come back up once if they're already up at the top of the hill? Won't they?
I'd have to look at the plan, but I don't think they have the possibility to do gravity. I think their property line and the way to, because our sewer up there on Wright Road doesn't go all the way down Wright Road. It's right at the top of, is it Standish?
Okay.
And that's what comes down to Wright Way Pump Station, and then the nearest manhole on Wright Road is further west, so he'd have to make his way over there by gravity. And in his previous approved subdivision, he had a pump station he was going to be installing up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions, Jen?
Nope.
Jess?
That was my big one for now.
For now?
I'm writing.
I'm busy.
I'm busy.
And George?
One thing that was mentioned on the sidewalk, is somewhat unrelated, but about the amount of salt that gets dumped on those side streets during the winter.
Yeah.
It all washes down. Is there any plan in the works to deal with that?
Yeah, so I looked at that since the last meeting, and so what my plan is we would kind of continue plowing the way we do, just to the end of the access road, and then from the access road, we get done with our snow blowers, and just create enough room for a vehicle to get down there. You technically could plow on that grass paved 2 system. I've looked at the manufacturer's recommendations, and they actually have a site where they do it. It's a shopping mall, and it doesn't harm the grass if they use the proper skids on the blades. But like that you're saying, and we've heard the comments on, is there's potential to drag salt down, and that could impact the grass. So the idea would be plow down to the end like we do. Snow blow down. If we have to do some snow removal, if there's too much, we'll have to get snow out of there. It's just, there's no room down there. So that's what I'm planning to do, or the DPW would plan to do for an operation to limit the impacts.
But wasn't your question more broadly about the side streets going down to the pond and salt in general? Or
Well, yeah.
Oh, how much? Yeah. Well, I guess that's an operational thing I can look at, in that having the guys use less over there. Yeah. I know it, because it's kind of a catch-22. You don't want to use a lot of salt, but then there's the steep hills, so it's like,
yeah.
It's kind of a sweet spot. But
Sometimes there are patches that are like an inch thick almost.
yeah, it's like usually by the end when they turn the vehicle around. Sometimes the spinner, they got to turn it on when they start moving instead of turn it on before they start moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see that a lot in certain towns, just at an intersection, people they forget to turn it off. And
Yeah, you'll see the pile.
And that's just, again, unfortunate of how systems operations are now. You're just happy to have a person, they just one time forget to turn the spreader off, and it just dumps a large amount in intersections. I think that's what's happening there. But if we can find, just for the health of the pond too, and obviously you guys are concerned with that too, either doing a low salt there or finding some sort of alternative at some point in the future that we can start using just for all those little side streets around the ponds and stuff would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to happen now, but it just is something to think about in the future to start looking at.
Yeah.
Anything else, George?
No.
Heather, do you have any comments?
I think one of the major questions that we kept getting when we were on site was that butters were concerned about the drainage coming down, how we're redoing the drainage swale, because the woman that lives next door to there says sometimes she has people come to her yard and they access it from back there, from that access road. So she's afraid of that drainage swale, if they're going to be able to drive through it in order to get to her yard for whatever landscaping, whatever issues. So I think that was one of the other concerns that one of the abutters had. And as far as I'm concerned, the swale wouldn't be too deep, that she should be able to drive through as long as it doesn't have any issues as far as the stormwater structure of the swale goes. It should be fine. But I know the neighbor on one side did have that concern.
So is that down in the yard? That's
Yeah,
like-
yeah, so apparently
So, like, they drive-
yeah, they drive down, there's a break in the fence in order to access her backyard that
Yeah.
they drive through.
Right before the shed.
Yeah, right before the shed. So it's just a question of making
me.
sure that drainage swale there, that they'll still be able to access her backyard with that swale. If not, there's a way we can put some sort of crossing or something in that spot to do that.
Yeah, I could work with Ms. Cook on that.
Yeah, we had talked also like, if on the rare occasion she'd do this.
Yeah, it's only like a couple times a year, like once or twice a year, if that, but like it's something that,
Yeah.
again, we want to make
Could
sure
it-
people, how they're using their yard, they're still allowed to do so. But drainage swales usually aren't
Yeah,
typically
it's
very
only
deep.
1 foot deep,
Yeah.
3 feet wide.
Yeah, so as long as
Should be able
someone
to
can drive
over
through,
that,
yeah,
you know.
that's, okay.
But I could work with.
Yeah, I just want to make sure if you have her contact, just to reach out and
Yeah.
be like, no, we reviewed it and it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, we were also thinking like maybe if it was an issue, the town could put in one of those steel rope plates temporarily as a bridge over it or something.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I mean, that might be a better way, because to carry one of those, we need our loader. It's pretty
Yeah,
intense.
drive across.
Drive across, yeah. I think that was one of the other concerns we had on site, but I think everything else, Matt, from what I could tell, we seem to address all the concerns that neighbors had. I know they're all concerned with the noise of the generator and all that, but, I mean,
It's temporary.
it's temporary. And I try to explain to them too, the whole reason doing this in the wintertime is because your windows are closed and not open and hearing it all day.
And you're not using the pond and stuff.
Yeah, so,
And we were clarifying too to some of them, it's not a year-long project of work. It's about a 2-month project for the actual work, but up to a year for planning, design, and.
Right, yeah, 2
And
to
the
3
pump's
months
not
of work is what we
constant, it's-
anticipate. and-
the generator's not constant, just when the pump runs.
Right.
So, those were some of the other concerns, so hopefully. Because, yeah, the pump ran twice while we were there, and it went for about, 8 minutes or so?
I think it was that.
Was it 4 minutes?
No, I think it was like a minute and a half.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was pretty
okay.
short.
It was so long ago, I don't remember. It was 2 weeks ago, I don't remember what happened.
With regard to the berm, I think we were talking about either Cape Cod berm, but something maybe a little bit taller on the east side to
Where
make
is
sure
that?
that there was not a lot of
Up
water
at the
flow.
driveway area, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that's acceptable.
We were talking about in this area.
Correct, yeah. I mean, we would just want to check and make sure that,
Yep.
folks are okay with that.
Yep. Put
But if
something a little
there's-
bit more.
Yeah, we can do a bread loaf berm.
What
Cause-
kind of berm?
Assuming that it's higher
asphalt
here,
berm. It's shaped like a bread loaf. It's higher.
assuming it's higher here, Dan, but then lower here to allow that to flow into the grassy or
Yeah, 'cause
roadway.
Right now it's sloping towards this point here, because that's where the swell's gonna be.
But I think it's with the deluge where it
I think we all
doesn't
wanna
care
make sure
where, it's going everywhere. And if there's some way of possibly trying to slow that down, so we don't have basement floodings and things like that.
Yeah, we could change the curb type. Yeah, that would give you some more reveal to help that, to help the corral water.
And also, again, to get it filtered down into the swale and, don't have the run across the rest of the grass and everything too. And the geotextile seems like that should be a go. We'd be able to do that for the roadway that you're putting in.
What about it?
The
Geo-web.
that seems like something that could be done.
The grass paved too, or, what's the question again? Sorry.
Using the
Geo-webbing, yeah.
Geo-webbing, there you
Yeah.
go, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, using the geo-webbing to use that for the vehicle support and things. Is that where we're headed?
That's what we're planning on doing,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It is, and it's been used. It's a proven technology to use, yeah.
Good.
What, somebody did ask this, What pins the geowebbing in place? Because there's going to be stone underneath it, right? And then the geowebbing, and then
That's a good question.
Yeah.
because there was some concern that like a snowplow would just push the webbing down if it wasn't anchored. It's just a question.
Yeah, I think
Oh, and just shift, right?
maybe a little bit to Dan's point earlier too, just taking care of maintaining, I guess, that area.
Right, so if
is
something
kind of
were to happen,
important.
you'd have to fix it, but I know, like you're saying, I kind of just mentioned we wouldn't plow the area, but, they do plow it. It is plowed by other, people who have it. The manufacturer has a mall in Farmington, Connecticut that actually uses this in the winter time as excess parking, and they plow it, and it looks pretty nice in the spring too, so. I'm not sure how it's anchored, though, to answer the question.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm just thinking it would need to be anchored because you're on that slope, so if the ground was soft and you're driving over it, I'm just afraid that it would shift. So it would have to be anchored at some sort,
Okay, I'm sure there is a way.
Typically, I think they are.
Yeah.
I would think at a minimum.
Yeah.
A what?
At the edges, I would think.
Then it
it'd
at the
probably be
edges?
Anchored at
It'd
the
have to
edges.
be. Because over the course of its lifetime, it would shift. I'm just thinking of my mom's daffodils that are made it to 30 feet away over the course of the 70 years they've lived there.
But it gets all grass and stuff growing up in between the diamonds, right? And that's gonna help.
Yeah, but it's going to be resting on a stone underneath.
Yeah, the substrate underneath. That's what I'm saying. I'm just afraid it's gonna,
Yeah.
I
with
gotcha.
vehicles going over it, if it's soft, it's gonna,
Yep.
someone guns it, will shift if it's not pinned.
With prairie grass, we probably wouldn't be bad, because it has good roots in prairie grass, right? Yeah. We wouldn't have to worry about dust storms.
Right. So if that's something you could look into, it's possible.
Because when we were out there, it was still pretty soft.
Any other comments or questions? Sir, did you have a question or a comment?
Yes, I was curious.
Can you state your name again for the records?
Keith Henderson, to Right Way.
Thank
Yep.
you.
I was curious, I know we had discussed the potential for odor.
Yep.
And Dan and Titan Bond had said they were going to try to arrange a similar type of station that we could visit. I received an email from Dan yesterday indicating that it's possible for a drive-by down at one on Lake Quinsigamon. What I'm curious of is when the station is in between pump cycles, what's the difference between when it's pumping and when it's not pumping in terms of the pressure inside the wet well? What I'm getting at is when it's pumping, is there air being drawn from where for the pump? Because when you're pumping a fluid, there's movement. And typically, there's going to be air movement at that point in time. I'm curious, like, okay, when the pumps are actually running, because the 55-gallon barrel of carbon material that's supposed to be filtering this,
Filtering
filtering
the odor?
Yeah.
aroma coming out of a large bit of sewage, is that going to push more air through that when it's pumping or when it's not pumping? I'm curious because if I just drive by a station, I'm not going to be able to tell if this material that's supposed to filter it actually filters it well. Because everybody, me and all the neighbors there are quite concerned that, the smell of sewer gas is not a pleasant aroma. And that's what I would ask is that the Concom push the decision for a couple of weeks or a meeting or two till the people, all the abutters have had time to visit the station and take in, does it actually work? I know design-wise, the design people will say, oh, that's what they do. This technology is a fairly new technology, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Aubrey?
It's been around. I mean, we've used it for a while. I just know the town hasn't specifically used it before.
Yeah, it's
but-
new to Ayer.
It's new to Ayer. It's been around for 5 years.
I can't put a number on it.
I'd have to do a little research on how long it's.
Been used for a long time, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, the other thing is that, like,
I've actually used carbon on odor control systems for much longer. Actually, in drinking water applications also to filter off gases and treatments. And I did a plant down in the Cape probably 20 years ago. More than that, used a similar type of technology. So, I mean, carbon media is not a new technology by any stretch.
no. And one of the questions I had asked that nobody could answer is how much carbon, how often does the carbon need to be changed? And all I got was the answer, it depends on how much the flow is, which is honest answer, but what if we don't know what the flow through it is, we can't know how long it's going to last. And if it only lasts for 1 year, okay, then, or if it lasts for 5 years, well, after that, then it's going to become
And then we change it out. Put in the carbon.
Replace the canister.
Yeah, replace it.
like, without, you change that out when? After the neighbors have complained and complained and complained, or?
I mean, we
if
can
there's not
monitor it. We can do monitoring. And check,
Yeah, no, like I
levels
said,
on it. We'll have to look at, I'm sure there's a manufacturer recommendation.
there's not any plan that I see for how that's going to be dealt with. And I've learned in life when you don't address stuff up front, it doesn't always go the smoothest on the backside. I'm just concerned that, okay, down the road it.
Well, we'll follow the O&M from the manufacturer on it, and we can monitor it and replace it when it needs to be replaced. That's really all I can say right now.
Okay.
And just to kind of clarify on that a little bit too, Mass General law for bidding, we do need to note 3 manufacturers, so at this time we can't say exactly what manufacturers are to be selected for the carbon media, so each one's probably a little bit slightly different.
Is there odor now, I guess?
It's completely
No.
sealed to atmosphere. It's 0. The other, sorry.
Can I just address your initial question though, regarding the pumping operation? The pumps are submersible pumps, so they're set in the bottom of the well well. So when the well well fills up, they pump on. So as far as you're concerned, well, if you drive by the station, you won't be able to know whether or not the station is pumping or not. It doesn't make a difference as far as the odor control system. It's venting. It's venting this, the clear well itself, regardless of whether the pumps are pumping or not.
Okay, but if you took a glass of water and a straw that went into the bottle, you drew that water down from the straw that went into the bottle, the air above it, the level of the air is going to change, correct? If you're pulling the water out of the glass, if you have a glass this big and it's 3/4 full of water, as you pull the water out from the bottom, the air is going to get bigger, correct? Filling the glass. My point is that the atmosphere has in that area is going to change. So you're gonna have, when you create a negative pressure,
It's always vented though. It's always vented to atmosphere. That's the whole idea.
And it's
Right.
it's going to be actively filling and then actively draining, so it's going to continuously be.
So it's going
Right.
to equalize, basically. It's-
it's
Exactly.
equalized.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have would you have a canister, carbon canister on hand so it could be swapped out quickly, or
Oh, we could have something like that,
it
yeah.
wouldn't take long?
Right, no.
Okay.
Spare parts.
Yeah.
Do towns still use the old pneumatic injector ones? Or are those outdated technologies now?
So, I mean, I know Time Bomb probably does a lot more work than I do in Ayer, but we only have a handful in Ayer, and basically the DPW, we prefer the submersible style. And a few reasons are redundancy, because a lot of our systems are submersible, so different parts we have, we can use at different stations. You know, we also, the pods, they run more often. They require a couple compressors. They use a lot more power. It's like 5 times the amount of energy a submersible pump uses. So it's really, and the submersibles as well, the wet wells are larger rather than the 2 pods. So it's kind of advantageous for us to keep going with the submersibles. I don't know if there's anything you guys to add, but.
It's technology is becoming a little bit more outdated. We're finding, I know a lot of, we're doing a lot more upgrades of stations from those pneumatic injector stations to.
Yeah, I'm just bringing that up because the station needs to be replaced regardless.
Right.
And because it is corroding away. So, if the existing technology is already out of date and getting more out of date over time, then this would have to be done, this kind of system would have to be done eventually anyways. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how maintenance 2 has been, but I know some communities have had trouble getting parts and.
Yeah, that is something we've had trouble with parts
Just
as well.
to maintain
Since at times we've only had 1 pod operable, so we're crossing our fingers, but yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying, it's like, you could replicate the old sealed-in system, but if it's out of date,
Right.
and it's getting harder to get parts, that could,
Yeah, it's much easier
Be a
if
whole
you have
different
2
peril.
pumps and you can pull one out, go with the other one, get a new one in there real quick versus the pods and the parts, right?
So I wasn't there, but you had discussed residents being able to visit.
Yeah, so I kind of mentioned at last meeting, we proactively, DPW and Time Bond as well, our consultant, met with the residents before this meeting to, try to receive comments from them and work through any issues, just sort of proactively, because we know they're neighbors and we're neighbors, even though we have an easement, we could put a building there if we wanted. So I sent an email out working with Time Bond to show a station that's similar. I mean, it doesn't look similar, but it's submersible and it has the odor control carbon. And it's right along a pond next to houses, probably even closer. So it's very, it's somewhat similar. But yeah, so we sent, we had to talk, obviously, through the city of Worcester to have access to that. We tried getting a tour. They said we could go and drive by and check it out. So that's what we were able to get approval to do.
What does that mean exactly, drive by? I mean, just drive by and get out of your car?
You could probably walk by.
Yeah. Go check, walk
I don't
through
mean
the
just-
fence. You can't
yeah.
go in the fence.
Yeah,
It's fenced in.
It's fenced in,
But just check it from the
You stand there,
outside.
Right, you go
Yeah.
5 feet from.
It's right there, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're, okay, so you're not, all right.
No, don't just drive by and roll the window down.
Right.
And what is your time frame for starting on this project? Would a 2-week delay impact you?
Well, the thing I would just worry is we got to get bidding soon. But just because of lead time of materials, that's my biggest thing. So that's going to push us out another 2 weeks. Right now we're June, so say we get approval, and then 2 weeks from
What
Takes a couple of
What would be
months.
your-
Well, we gotta finalize plans.
reasons for delay, I guess?
By the time you're.
Well, I don't know. They had mentioned that they wanted to go out
Now the project
and
is
take a look. or
pushing
take a
toward the
sniff.
spring a little more.
But I mean, it has to
Over is really
happen.
not within our jurisdiction per se.
Yeah,
Well,
You know,
here.
it's really,
it has to happen.
Right.
for us, it's really kind of a non-issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm happy to continue
Jen's
working
got
with
a-
the residents
I'm
and
sorry?
their concerns.
No, I mean, just, it has to happen either way, so I don't see 2 weeks making an impact. I hear what you're saying.
2 weeks.
I don't think that we should delay for 2 weeks for something that is inevitable.
Yep.
This is what they replace with parts for the old systems are harder to come by,
Yeah.
and it has to be replaced regardless because it's corroding.
It's gonna smell a whole lot worse if it fails,
Yeah.
right? So, let's get it fixed before that happens.
Right, right.
Yeah, and it could
It'd be
be
a soggy mess.
a big
That'd
mess in
be
the pond.
disgusting. I'd smell it in my
Yes, sir.
house.
I have one other question. When the
lake
pumps
was
are
shut
getting
down.
serviced, which
Yeah,
is, to the best of my understanding, a monthly event for each of the two pumps, they'll be pulled out so they can be serviced. During the time that those pumps are pulled out, I'm gonna guess, I don't know how long the service is gonna take, I'm guessing a few hours to service the pump. I don't know, maybe you can enlighten me on that. I don't know where there's other submersible stations. How long does it take to service the pumps?
No, so they would take it out and take it back to our facility to service it typically, unless there was nothing, they would kind of inspect it, if there's nothing really wrong with it. Yeah, it would take a couple hours probably, just to take the pump out and check it out. But if there was a major issue, they'd take it off site to go get it repaired or whatever needs to be done.
Okay. I'm assuming that there's no grinders on any of the sewer lines feeding down into that. From what I've read,
Oh, right, yeah, it's all gravity sewer, you're talking about it.
yeah, it's all gravity
Pump.
sewer.
Yeah.
From what I've read, submersible pump stations that don't have grinders on the lines going in tend to clog more often because there is larger particles. And one of the things that what I read is, oh, that means that, okay, there'll be more times when the pump has to be pulled to be serviced because it clogs more often. And I'm concerned, as I'm sure the neighbors are, okay, if the pump starts clogging and it happens to be on a Saturday, well, somebody's gonna have to come down and service that on a Saturday, and if you were using the front yard, well, you're not gonna be wanting using it when that pump is in the air, and because then the quote-unquote filter media isn't gonna be involved, because the wet well's gonna be wide open.
Well, no one can determine when it's going to be serviced.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
And it's going to have to be serviced.
We're going from a type of pump station that has minimal servicing and one that gets a monthly service.
So just in general, I'd be glad, like after the meeting, to talk more about details like these that, aren't so related to Concom. So we'll have grinder pumps in there that can pass 3-inch size objects at least. And so those, especially a residential area like this, unless somebody's flushing rags down or something, we don't usually see it an issue. But obviously it's something that can happen. We don't see it too often, but at our major stations it happens a little more because they take all the flow from town. But a residential area like this, like our Oak Ridge pump station, it's not a frequent occurrence.
Plus, it's a duplex pump system too, so one has to be maintained, the state, they just take one out, the station continues to operate with the other pump. They're 100% redundant.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, you wouldn't pull one out and have it out for 3 weeks with only one, because then if something happens, then you have none. I understand redundancy. I work in an industry that doesn't like redundancy.
Anything else? Any other comments, questions? No? Shall we vote on this? Motion to approve the notice of intent, DEP file number 100-0484, Ayer Department of Public Works. Reconstruction of the pump house on right way.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Passes unanimously. So,
I have the order all done.
you have the orders all done? All right.
I just gotta add the special order conditions to it, kind of, but those are standard anyway.
Okay. All right. So has everyone read the orders? Anyone read? Have you s-
There's no special ones.
There's no,
No
yeah,
special?
it's, I don't think I'd done special ones with the town ones before. I think I did one for a previous one, and I'll probably just copy that one. They were pretty, it was the standard stuff that's always in there. But yeah,
Okay.
it says subdivision, so there's no fill being brought in, there's no trucks parked on site, like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I understand their concerns.
Right.
It is in their yard.
Exactly.
I also respect you and your department, and you're gonna do a good
We
job.
appreciate that, and yeah, we're trying to work with them, but obviously it's no fun for the residents who live right there, so, yeah.
Yep.
That's been there, like, as long as the house has been there, right?
It's
Mid-nineties.
1990 it went in,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Pretty close.
so that's when that whole area got done, yeah.
The whole
Not surprised then.
town sewer went in that area, which cleaned up Sandy Pond quite a bit.
Yeah,
Nice.
true.
So gross.
And you were saying too that there's like 10 homes in that area, if I.
Not connected,
That are not connected.
it's something like that, I don't know the exact number, but it's, yeah, there's a handful.
there's
And
still-
we did determine that for some of our records and research, yeah. Yeah,
That'll make a difference too, when they
yeah,
get
if,
hooked
if
up.
and when they connect, yeah.
Yep,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that always makes a difference.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in, appreciate
I'll
it.
have that for you Tuesday.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Heather.
You're welcome.
Do we have to vote on those orders?
You just did.
Oh, we just voted on them.
Close it?
You should close it.
Motion to close the public hearing, notice of intent, DEP file number 100-0484.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. All right, our next item is a request for partial certificate of compliance, DEP file number 100-0341-7.
Well,
Hemlock-
it's not dash 7, it's 7
7
Hemlock Drive.
Oh.
It just,
I'm going, I don't know what that means, but
it's just how I ended up on the line, I apologize.
Oh, 7 Hemlock.
Yeah, it's 7 Hemlock Drive. Yeah, it's part of Pingree Hill subdivision. I had been dealing with the seller's attorney and the closing attorney on this, and with Mika from SJ Mulaney to try to figure out what happened with this lot. So this is 7 Hemlock. This is the one that faces Littleton Road that was just for sale. The entrance of Pingree. Apparently they missed. There was a partial certificate issued out of this. There's another one under this. I think when Jess was filling in for Old Farm Way, the rest of it kind of got forgotten. One of these ones that fell through the cracks. Mika and I both spent many hours researching it and looking it up, spent some time on the phone figuring out. In the near future, he's going to come for a full certificate. The phase, it was broken into phase 2 and phase 3. Phase 2 was accepted by the town in 2014. Phase 3 was accepted in 2017. The orders actually expired in 2017. So this is, it's just, the house is for sale. The closing is next week, and this is holding up one of the attorneys. So I told him we would issue a partial. And when I spoke with Mika the other day, he said, I'm like, just, I'll tell him that you're working on it. He's like, oh no, I'll get to it. He's just, I'm really busy right now. I go, I understand, but I don't want another closing to come and get held up because of this last open order. So, this is just to get the closing done on this one. Yeah. There is a stormwater system on site. That is maintained by the homeowners association, so there's no issues with that. The new owner does know that, so there's no wetlands or anything as far as that goes, as far as having the signs put up that's not on this property either.
Is 0341, is that the infrastructure
Yeah.
order? So that, okay.
Yeah.
So this isn't the house construction order?
No, it was,
Okay.
and this lot just happened to fall in the blanket of things, so we're just trying to
Yeah.
make closing attorneys happy and stop calling and emailing me.
So you're good to go with this one?
Yeah.
Any questions from commissioners? Everybody happy?
There was any special things that needed to be done with this site
Nope.
or anything, or no? Okay.
No, because everything on it was, I mean, it was accepted by the town years ago. All that was done. It's just one of these ones that just got, because of how the project was done over so many years and different, it's just one of these things that just fell through, that just didn't get closed out. Because everything was accepted by the town
Is it?
and reviewed by DPW to prove that that it was done properly to a plan.
Was it anywhere near any wetlands at all? I mean,
There's wetlands on there. I don't believe there was on this lot. This lot just
that's
has
what I was saying. I
stormwater
don't
on it,
think
yeah.
It was. I remember looking at this house when we were trying to buy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, just this one has a stormwater basin on it, so I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure I clarified with the closing attorney that they knew how that was maintained and made sure it was correct with that when I talked to Tamika on it, and yeah, so it's just one of these things. So I told him he's gotta get it into me before we get another closing, so I don't deal with this again. And then Pinkery should be all closed, once we get this 100% closed out, hopefully sooner than later.
Any other questions? Motion to issue a partial certificate of compliance for DEP file number 100-0341, 7 Hemlock Drive.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously. That'll make them happy.
Yes, thank you.
Any conservation office updates?
I have two things, well, a couple things. One, I do have, we already voted on it, it was approved. We just need to re-sign a certificate of compliance for DEP number 100-0030 because the attorney that we issued it for, lost it and needs to record it. So we need to do another one.
How long ago was that?
January.
I mean, that it was...
Oh, that was 80 something, 80,
Yeah.
85
Jeez.
that it was thing, but then we issued the certificate in January and it was misplaced and now we need to do it again.
We charge them for that?
Sweet.
You don't charge for anything.
We should charge for that.
No.
Processing fee.
Things are coming. Things are coming. That's it. That's on that. And then, been spending the last week or so working with the planning board on Ayer Solar 2 and meeting with their consultant to do the peer review. So I met with Jonathan and Robert to discuss the concerns I had with the fill on site.
They met him.
And then we had a meeting with the peer reviewer later that afternoon. That was last Tuesday. So I got to hear what questions and concerns they had. It was very valid. I felt very validated that all my concerns were actually legitimate and I should have them. But also it's like, oh, that means the site really is in disarray. So that was good. Was good and bad. The planning board had their meeting with them on Tuesday, opened their hearing. The consultant did submit their peer review comments of, I believe it was 62 comments that they had with the site and the plans. Some of them are irrelevant due to the zoning that they checked that we'll have to get re-looked through and validate those. But the planning board will be with us on our site visit next Saturday at 8. So that went well. We've been working on that.
The second, correct?
Second, the 3rd. The 3rd. Saturday's the 3rd. So that's when I'm going to the ballet, so that's why we're doing it so early.
The 31st is Wednesday.
Yeah.
First, second, third. So they also thought the crappy fill was
Oh, yeah, so when I did my site visit yesterday, Rohit was still in town. Because they did put some of it on in the jurisdictional area on our
They did?
side. Oh, yeah, no, they did, on the opposite side of the basin. And I did last Wednesday, there was a piece of snow fencing, I couldn't even pull it out of the ground. So I sent it to Rohit, and it's not done yet. And they could send me pictures when it was done. I didn't hear anything. I went back out on Thursday and was told I should notify him when I'm going out on site. And I'm like, well, I told you. If I didn't get pictures, I was going, and I went. But he was there Wednesday. We went out. I still found some. They could tell they did replace some, but there was still some that was. I pulled out a little piece of brick and a board about this big. So he was going to walk the site again with the contractor to ensure that it gets cleaned up. So I will do it again. And I told him, like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to be nitpicky. But this is your plan. It's your plans that state it's supposed to be loom. I'm just verifying that you're doing what you said. That's all I'm here to do.
Yep.
So he was going to walk it again because you could tell they just did sections of it. So I don't know if they just ran out and didn't do it and tried to hide it, or they just, or they were trying to hide it. They didn't want to do all of it. I don't know, but they were going to rewalk it to ensure that the fill has been replaced. It is starting to grow though, which is promising. The grass on it, so. But they are working to replace that. So.
But I just said their plan says loam.
It says loam or topsoil. Yep.
Loam in the planning board's jurisdiction.
Yep.
For the most part, though, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I guess they could argue, well, it's not your jurisdiction. You shouldn't be looking.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't. I typically try it if Rohit's on site, because he'll ask, like, how's it look? Everything look? Well, yeah, it looks good as the site as a whole. Like but if I'm going to review this to the plans, no, it does not. So I just don't say anything and let it. Now that we're before everything, let it come out there, because it's just as a whole, as a site, construction site. Yeah, there's a few little things here and there, but as a project being built to a plan, there's issues with the plans. So
tell them, say, where'd all the good dirt go that you took from our site?
Oh my God.
Because we know it was good.
Oh yeah, it says on the plans restocked loom. That's what I don't get. So it was supposed to stay on site.
Yeah.
And that was what they're supposed to use in the so I don't know. There's a new person, I guess he has overseeing the project as well now too. So hopefully that helps.
Put wood and snow fences. Should have put it under the road, dum-dums.
So but it's going to be a slow process moving forward on that. The planning board continued to the 13th. Our next meeting with them is the 8th. I have a conflict, unfortunately, on the 8th. So that I found out about it the day after our meeting.
Oh.
Kids' schools, they plan things.
How dare they?
I know.
Do we have any other applications coming in?
No.
Good shape. We'll cope.
Yeah, like I said, I told them at our first meeting, we opened the hearing, that I didn't want to do anything until the planning board closed anyway, just because in the planning boards, they didn't even really do any discussion because no one had time to discuss their peer review comments. So I have a feeling the planning board's going to be continuing outside of the 13th anyway. So I don't think our meeting on the 8th is going to be over.
Can you send us the peer review comments?
I sure can.
Along with the DEP letter on the peanut oil spill.
Yes, sorry, that's right. Yes, I can do that. I will do that. Other than that, that's about all that's been going on. I've been reviewing stormwater regulations besides that, stormwater handbook. Oh, and Catania will be putting an addition on, but it's outside of our jurisdiction, so we don't have to worry about that.
You just did an addition.
Yeah, they gotta do another one.
Barely got finished.
Make room for all that peanut oil.
They're looking at doing solid oils now.
It's a solid
coconut?
oil.
Coconut oil,
Wouldn't that be lard?
coconut oil,
Where's
palm
that?
oil, and there's a third one. I can't remember who the third one is, they said. But yeah, looking at doing, putting a new building on just to do solid oil.
Interesting.
You say solid oil?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
solid.
Solid, yeah.
I said salad oil.
No, solid oils. So yeah, your coconut and palm oil, and I know they mentioned the third one, but they're in the real preliminary stages for that right now because it is where they're looking to put it falls really close to the DPW easement and their pump station on site, so. They gotta work through those challenges first, but they are also looking as part of that project and part of the spill, changing their oil spill containment area in their rail yard, so I got to review that. Yes, it was a very good idea. And putting an oil separator on their roof drain in case a spill does happen and fall into that drain, they'll have a separator. I'm like, that's a good idea. I'm like, I'm gonna see if I can find that to be exempt for you. If it's not exempt, we'll just do an RDA because I think everyone will be happy that you're putting an oil and water separator on your drain that flows into the pond.
On the roof drains, like.
Yes, the new addition that they just finished has a roof drain.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with the spill, is the way that everything came out, it ended up somehow, there was a trench, it ended up getting into that roof drain and then flowing in, and that's how everything just shot into the pond. So they want to change the containment area inside because it's just basically rock now. If a spill happens, then eventually hopefully it gets contained. Now they're going to put an actual trench in, so if anything under the track, so if anything were to spill, it falls into this trench and it's contained. And then they want to put an oil water separator on the roof drain in case, worst case scenario, something does end up in that roof drainage system, that they have a oil water separator on it.
Okay. But when you said roof drain, I actually was thinking literally on the roof. I'm thinking, how did they get in the oil up onto the roof? Like, why do you need it? But
It flows down.
Where it's flowing into, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so that's how it happened, is that roof drain going into because it flows into the pond.
Yeah.
The oil somehow got into that system from the original one, so they're changing out how the oil's captured if a spill happens in the rail yard, plus putting this drain in, water separator in, so that'll all be all positive things. It's just because of the stormwater regulations, it's supposed to go through the town planner, and with us not having one, they're going to go to Dan. I mentioned to him today that they're going to be calling him, asking him all these questions. And then I'm trying to see if I can find if it's exempt or not. And I can't find it, but I got to keep searching because I feel it's an existing roof drain to just put an oil water separator would be exempt from DEP regulations, and they just have to do an RDA because it's not going to be a huge excavation on their part. So I'm searching those regs for them.
Okay. Anything else, Heather?
No, that's about it.
Jen? Any updates?
No, not really. I'm going to be coming before you as a homeowner at some point because we're trying to figure out what to do with our pit because it keeps sinking, like our yard keeps sinking into it. So we had Penards out to look at it.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyway, heads up there.
Quality landscaping done by that developer, whose name will not be mentioned.
Ooh, I was like, hey, I'm really concerned that that's going to just like fall in. And he's like, no, we're going to throw some rock on there. It'll be fine. No, it's not. But yeah.
Oh, that's too bad.
Nice heavy rock on top of soft loam, right?
Well, it's not loam. It was garbage, dirt. I think they shop at the same place. I pulled multiple beer bottles worth of glass out of it.
Oh, gosh.
Stills.
Yeah, it's great. But no conservation updates. So.
Jess, you have anything?
Just Joe Honorado from Water and Wetlands copy. Did you see his late this afternoon?
Oh, I did not know.
About 3 or so. They're going to be putting their signs up.
Yeah, because usually right around this
next
time.
week.
Yeah.
And I
ordered the Seki disc today too.
Yeah, and I just responded. I said, you would generally know more than I, but people are still getting in their habits.
Yeah.
But also, we should just run it. It should be run by Jeff Thomas.
Yeah, I think I mentioned to them last year about that, and he goes, "Oh no, we already do that." So, I'll just double check.
I sent him gave him Jeff's email.
Yeah,
so.
I'll double check. I said I ordered those discs today.
Yeah. Oh, the Seshi discs?
Yes, I did. I ordered 2. I was trying to figure out how to do it because Amazon was super expensive, and then I keep forgetting we have Combi, so I ordered them from Fisher Scientific. They were a lot cheaper that way. Because Amazon wanted $100 for 2 of them. It was $20 if you ordered 1, but then as soon as you put 2, it went to $100. I'm like, well, that's weird. And I'm like, wait, there's got to be a different way to order this. Yeah. So Fisher Scientific had them for $25 each, so that was easier.
How about you, George? You got anything? Updates?
Question, have the issue of the sheds on the Tucker property come up again?
Oh.
It
Robert's,
did briefly, we talked
Yeah.
with him when,
Robert's trying to set up a meeting on Flanagan Pond access. And last time with Dan,
Mm-hmm.
last time when we did Heather's review, she did terrible. She did great. We brought up the sheds, and that got put on the back burner when the pandemic hit. So that was one of the things to go on the list when we have a meeting with Dan
look at
and
that.
Robert. So
That'll
it
be
looks like
next
Robert
week.
wanted to have a meeting this week, and I was busy. I didn't see the email till today.
well,
We're out of town,
I
so-
saw the email at 3 o'clock and the meeting is supposed to be at 2:30. It's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, they're trying to reschedule one for next week, and I can't find my email where I had it. Dan sent some times, I think
Wednesday afternoon.
Wednesday
Thursday,
after
and Friday.
10:30, then
Yeah.
Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
So the sooner we can reply, because
I replied
I
Wednesday
already-
after 1 I could do it.
okay, because it was, oh yeah, there we go, there's yours, yeah, because
I have a dentist.
with Robert, it's the sooner we can get it on his radar, the
Yeah.
better, because he gets busy fast.
Yeah.
So that would be mentioned again.
Yeah, we'll mention that again, those sheds.
You interested?
And what?
Having one?
No, no.
Yeah.
I know. It's, when one of them, you can probably just knock it down. It wouldn't take much at all. The other
So-
one's built, though. It is,
Yeah.
jeez.
So I think the things we have to have that continuing conversation with Robert and Dan together on is pond access, the sheds, and the beaver dam, beaver issues.
Yeah.
So,
Yep, that'll be, we haven't forgotten. How about you, Mark? Any updates?
No real updates, just a couple questions on old stuff too. Groton Harvard Road, railroad crossing behind the mechanic shop. We had issues like they were parking like tractor trailers there. I forgot what the answer was. I happened to be by there. I happened to notice one of those kind of like bigger, like tanker kind of vehicle, tractor trailer of sorts back there. There's like a box one, just regular old
Yeah.
semi, but there's like one that would be something in it of maybe liquid type things or whatever.
Isn't the wetlands underground though?
No, but I thought there was an issue with
Yeah.
regards, like they weren't supposed to be
years
parking
ago,
stuff.
something there. Do you remember, George?
No, not on the auto shop side.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's been like a zoning issue on occasion, but,
Yes.
Because
and that's more in the building inspectors.
I mean, I suppose from where it's parked, it's not,
Yeah.
is it plow shop, but it's the,
No, schoolhouse pond?
oh, it's,
It's,
yeah, maybe
it's
it's
it's the drainage ditch, the infamous drainage ditch
Yep.
that runs under there and
Right.
towards Schoolhouse Pond.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then the other one too. Didn't somebody come to us about the property across from Tiny's? I saw a couple for sale signs up on that. They had asked if we had wanted it for conservation land or something like that.
No, the issue that we had met on it was that was one of the proposed locations that they were looking at for
Pocket Forest?
the
Senior center.
senior center.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they ended up being the issues of the Title 21E, the site cleanup with underground tanks and soil conditions and stuff. So there used to be a gas station there at one point.
Okay.
And I had concerns
That's where,
on
there's like some
where the
old
house
mobile homes,
is.
I think,
Yeah,
there.
and then
But then there's the
because-
house for sale too, also on the corner.
Yeah, and then my concern with the whole site too is more those at high water levels, like especially with climate change, high storms, where those trailers are. That whole thing, it's in the flood. That's an area subject to flooding. That floods when it's heavy
Okay.
rain. It ends up underwater. So anything with super development on that site would have to have a stormwater system as far as commercial development went. because of that. So it'd be concerned. And if you were to build a house there, you'd have to build it up because that it does, it's a bowl for the most part.
Okay. And then actually, now that you mentioned that, any more news on the property sale pending on Flanagan's there, the little swamp?
No.
No one's come in or asked any questions about it?
No one's come to me and asked questions. I have a person, I have to ask a builder in town of one piece of property that was for sale. I'm going to ask about that one too, see if they know. Because I know they did ask about it, so I just want to see if they ended up buying that one and the other one.
Maybe a little tree house.
There you go.
That would be a great place for a tree house.
That's all I got.
So you got?
Yep. You? Anything?
I got nothing.
I thought of something, sorry. Are we still getting sued
What?
by what's his face? Is that still ongoing? Should I not ask about that? I can ask about that later. Never mind, I have nothing. Forgot.
I think that's,
Oh, okay.
but we don't know. That's also on that list, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was left
Yeah.
with Robert to pursue
Yeah.
things.
Okay. Cool. All right, now I have nothing. Just curious.
All right. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Passes unanimously.